just setting the stage here. It's a clip of the broadcast, and we had some banter by coaches. Some state-sponsored the broadcast, brought them on, invited them on, and asked them some questions, and did it in a group interview style, so they were able to converse with each other. And I kind of want to get your overall vibe on that. What do you feel? So I'm going to play this clip, and I want to get your vibe on it. Okay, so let's roll the.
Whatever you want to call it. Christopher and Gamba are calling in here for a quick chat before their teams are going at it. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time. But let's hear it. This is a rematch. Space Station Gaming, of course, had the luxury of just waiting it out in the grand finals and watching ENCE play in the lower bracket today. Christopher, what were your takeaways from that match that ENCE just played? Do you think they look hungry to take you down, question mark?
I mean, it went exactly how I thought it would, you know, like the games would be close up until it was winnable for Peps, then one of their supports would actively grief the game and hit the 3-0.
My turn. I think this question, I want to ask both of you guys because this is a rematch from yesterday, but how confident are you guys that like your team could beat the other team today? Like, I mean, of course, Christopher, you guys already beat ENCE, but like how confident are you that you guys could beat ENCE one more time? And for Gumba, you guys did lose yesterday, but today, I mean, you guys are looking good right now. How confident are you that you guys could beat Space Station for this match?
Yeah, pretty confident. I think, you know, last time we had the upper bracket advantage. We're in SSG's position. We lost easily, I think 4-1. So if we take that as a pattern of a sample size of 1, yeah, that means we should win this time. Look, I think the pressure's on them. You know, I think at the end of the day, for like most of their players, other than Funyastra, I think this is potentially the first big tournament they're ever going to have won. You know, it's such a big moment in their career after like 6 years of committed trying. You know, they've been trying for such a long time. The pressure's not really on us, you know. We're going to Dallas anyway. Our players have won so many tournaments. I think we have the experience where it counts, and it's going to be on them to prove that they can show up when it matters. They are, you know, we are the underdog at the end of the day. But as we saw yesterday, you know, they can bleed even in this meta. That's really, really good for them. So I think if SSG choke this one, we have to start asking questions about their players.
Christopher, what do you think?
Some spice going on right here. A little bit of narrative.
The problem with the narrative that he's pushing, it makes no sense to really talk about pressure when he's starting with Crimzo in the lineup, you know? Like, no matter what happens, like, that guy is, like, guaranteed good for map 5 to actively, I mean, do what he did yesterday, you know? First death, chin 7 times in a row. Interesting hearing him talk about how many championships his teams have won, considering, I don't know, apart from Kevster, did anyone actually win any? But no, I mean, I'm also good at pattern recognition. We beat them in Swiss, we beat them yesterday, we've beat them all week in scrims, so I think we're good to go.
That's a bigger sample size too, so if we're running the numbers here.
Right, so that's pretty much the gist of it. And Nick, just initially, what's your thoughts on this?
Trash. It's weak. It's absolute weak trash talk. Like first time, like it feels like I don't know how to say it nice. But like, you know, you'll be hanging out with your friends, and then those two friends just start arguing with each other again, right? And they're not really saying anything. They're just saying things that might have happened like that. And half of it was just facts of like, yeah, but you know, we're already going to DreamHack. Like, congratulations. That's not really a good. No, it just seems a little cringy to me. It doesn't really seem like too much like trash talk. It just seems like overall like coerced cringe, right? A little bit of CC right there. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I'm also not one of their players. I mean, the first guy started for SSA or whatever started to trash talk a little bit when he was like, you know, one of the supports was gonna throw the game or something like that, right? Like,
yeah.
A good trash talk would be like, yeah, you know, I think you know, this player is going to be the one that does nothing this game or something along those lines, right? Like I think it was real weak, and you know, it's like a first attempt. It looks like for Overwatch to get people.
Exactly. So, generally speaking, like this was a first foyer. These two coaches are well known for their shit talk, for their analytical, for their practical, logistical minds. And and unironically, there's shit talk. This was the first foray of shit talk on a broadcast. This is also the first foray of shit talk acceptance. If that term makes any sense, because
Overwatch,
for Overwatch, the community is very touch and go when it comes to this. We're going to see another coach, another segment of this basically, and like he has a history of trash talking. And like we've talked before, there is proper ways of doing trash talk. And like this seems to be entry level. They know what they're doing. They're not really going in on each other, but they also understand that the community is a little touchy with this. So I appreciated this. I liked it. I like this little political campaign of trying to like push the community into some banter, into some fun things, because a lot of the times they're quiet during the game and then they're loud after they won. And they stay quiet if they lose, like the fans, and traditionally in Overwatch League has been. And like maybe it's the demographic that plays, maybe it's just the culture of the game overall. But like you go to something like CS:GO, they're calling each other see you next Tuesdays and using F-bombs on stage. Call of Duty actively teabagging, tactical crouching.
There's a reason for that. We're in America, and we fucking suck at this. Okay? Like, literally, CSGO is a European game. That's why we can use the see you next Tuesdays, okay? The smooth sound of a baseball bat. Like, we can literally, like, you can use that sort of thing because it's not very American to just be cursing. Like, you know, a cop will want to arrest you for cursing, but if you say any curses in England, they're going to be like, okay, have a good one. Like, it's like you curse. Congratulations. But I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't like I guess I already know your opinion, right? Like you like this part with the coaches. I hate when coaches trash talk. I don't like I only like it maybe at like the thing right before like the major, like the most prolific event of the year. I have no problem with coaches talking about it going into like a world situation or like, you know, the World Cup or something along those lines. Other than that, I want to hear about players. Like I want to hear what one support thinks of another player who plays, you know, Lucio. You guys are both renowned Lucio players. What do you guys think of each other? But like, they might not do it because Overwatch is, I don't even want to say it's Overwatch players, right? Because I do think, like I've said this to you before, I have really toxic experiences in Overwatch on a regular basis.
Ranked play is a much different beast.
Yeah, I mean, this is a league player talking. Like it's super toxic in Overwatch compared to what I deal with. But I just think I think it's Blizzard games in general. Yeah. Like Blizzard is a little bit too much.
That's the point I was going to bring in. PR. A lot of lawyers, a lot of marketing reps, a lot of publicists coming out. And I think a lot of the gaming culture, the organization in Overwatch League was focused on that. There was a lot of instances and situations where players couldn't have personalities. And like, granted, you're talking about these 17, 18-year-old kids whose brains haven't fully formed, haven't totally cooked. They're not fully baked in that. So they're not going to have total impulse control. So like, some things are definitely outlandish and don't really need to happen. The M80 situation at the beginning of stage 1 here for Overwatch Championship Series, basically just getting caught saying the N-word a bunch and like for no apparent reason other than just to do it. Old news, but like that's what I'm also saying. It's like when you have young kids with no impulse control, they don't know the difference in nuance. So here I appreciate the coaches doing it and trying to pull the community into that, pull it away from the Blizzard PR sort of stuff going. I do feel like it's much more tactical and impactful rather than just going F-bomb kind of stuff, brash, belligerent cursing. I do feel like that's stronger trash talk overall if you can kind of really, you know, get in them like we saw for the league tournament a couple weeks ago for the major. He's like, you still have an import slot, meaning your job's at risk. Like that clever trash talk mid-match player to player, I'd love to see happen in Overwatch. I would love to see more of that, but there's so much that has to happen for that to happen. CSGO is also a much older demographic esport, and it's an older esport in general. It's been around for 10, 15, almost 20 years.
Yes, but like also like a lot of American esports players they're paper. They're 100% made out of paper. They are like time and time again, like trash talking doesn't have to always be out of anger or out of like superiority, right? Like you could literally just tell a person who's better than you, just like, you suck. Haha. Like,
right.
Like it doesn't even matter. Like you can literally just do that. Like have like funny banter. Like I remember becoming best friends with a French guy on Xbox Live because he was on the other team. I swear to God, he was on the other team at Halo. And I was like, I'm not going to lose to no fucking Frenchman. Right. And then like, we boarded up, whooped butt. And then like that. And then afterwards I was like, I told you I wasn't going to lose to a Frenchman. And he's like, yo, you did. And then we became friends afterwards. We started playing Halo together. And it was just like a little thing just because he's like, I'm not going to lose to a Frenchman. Like it's stupid. Have more fun with the banter itself, but I do think that like Blizzard is quicker to punish people than a lot of other players. But also like the kids coming into the trash talk now, like people coming into this stuff, like they don't know the lead up anymore. Like it's literally just like remember that Swedish hospital? If you don't, you should go look it up. And it's abbreviation. It's a bannable abbreviation in case like you need to know, right? Like it's it's like an uninstall abbreviation. And so there's like little memes like that and stuff like that. But like the trash talk at League is like when it's good, it's like real choice. Okay. And like there was one guy, I watched the video, a guy literally posted coordinates into chat. Just coordinates. You put coordinates into Google, it brings you to Gonk Mid, right? It just says Gank Mid is the place. And Gank Mid is like, we just want you to gank the mid later. So he's like, yo, Jungler, and he put the coordinates in, and you just search it, and it's Gank Mid. It's like, I got you. Like, you can have stupid stuff, and like one of the things that I troll with is it's like, if you're losing a game and the game sucks and it's frustrating and you're losing for like really stupid reasons and it's essentially like you're not even playing the game at all, which happens in any competitive game, right? Just BGWP this game. Just BGWP. Don't have any stock in the fucking game right there. Like, you know why it was bad. You know what was going on. Just BG, well played. And even the other guy can be like, yeah, bad game, well played. Like, it doesn't feel good to dominate like that.
So like to a couple of your points with it, I do have a question at the end of this, but like it almost feels like comedy, right? When like there's an art to banter, it's an art to trash talk and shit talk. There's an art to jokes. You can tell a joke like poopy pee pee haha. It's very immature. It's not funny. But if you get clever with it, if you come at it from a different angle and you kind of like you twist them, you kind of get them catch some slip in, then that's when it gets fun and it's good, and that cleverness really helps that. And that's something that needs to like develop overall, and like not everybody's got. So of course, don't try. But generally from here, like this is where my question comes in. Is like overall, I'm kind of on the fence, and I kind of don't think that we should see this in ranked play, like this kind of banter. People are going to do it, and I think what you're going to see more or less, and like what you're saying, are the meme lords, the people who just want to like, I copy pasted this thing, look, copy pasta, la la la, I'm so funny. Like, it's not original, it's not actually people doing it. So like the average Joe Schmo shouldn't make memes because they're not funny. The average Joe Schmo isn't a comedian, isn't going to be able to improv some banter, some trash talk. So like that's why I kind of get skeptical, and I want your opinion as far as how far does this go in like a rank play, or should it be in a rank play? Because I enjoy this and seeing this on the broadcast. I want more of it, maybe more on social media, maybe more on like the broadcast between players, not the coaches where it's like dads fighting your friend's dad kind of moment. But
Yeah.
but when we bring it back into rank play, into competitive in the game, it doesn't feel like every Tom, Dick, and Larry should do this, because they're not going to be funny, they're not going to be clever, and they're probably just going to resort to racism or some shit.
I mean, I don't think everybody's going to resort to racism. That's not like
case in point, Xbox Live. Most of the time, that just resorts into.
I mean, like, that's not like, it's a little bit different. Like the old internet was the Wild West, where everybody didn't have a face and could say whatever they wanted, and the response was, well, how do you know I'm not?
Yeah.
And that's why people like there's those idiots and stuff like that. But like, it's all bad to say that shit. But I think like really what you're getting to is the malice and the anger behind words is always an issue. And that's not what trash talk is. Trash talk isn't malicious. Like that's like the only way that I could actually like describe it. Like, trash talk isn't malicious. Yeah. I'm gonna beat the shit out of your team next week, and I'm gonna do it because your supports are trash. These are pro players.
Right.
You should be able to call a pro player trash, and it should not be able to hurt his ego. You should be able to like. And I mean, in game, I would say like saying stuff like that in game would probably be a little bit more risky. But even then, I don't think you should. I don't think you should be. I don't think people should be quick to report all the time. And I do think that like Blizzard's automatic system is probably a little bit too heavy-handed when it comes to this stuff. So like, without certain words, I think you need to give people like leeway. Like, I think we all know which like words we're talking about, and like we all know that like it doesn't matter. It matters that we get rid of these racist words and these racist terms, but it doesn't stop a racist from finding a new way to be racist. So we're just adding those words like that onto the thing.
But like, that's the evolution. That's the evolution of language in general, right? Like, the term like special needs replaced another word, and now it's becoming a little bit illicit as well. So like, that's going to be the evolution of context and language and just the etymology overall. But generally speaking, like, I don't feel like every Tom, Dick, and Larry should be able to do this, or be able to do it like full carte blanche. They shouldn't have free reign to just, and like, if I sit here, like, if you remember the movie Happy Gilmore, there's a guy who gets paid to just harass him, and it's like, hey, you suck, right? There's nothing clever about it. It's just repeated. And like, there's going to be a point in context. If he's doing that outside your home, not during a match, that's a problem. That's harassment, right? Like, that's why I'm trying to say, like, there are situations where you cross a line and it's not necessarily, but like, in context, in the right context. And that's the thing that I think this community needs to learn. But I think esports in general has been learning, and some more than others.
So I think people like, from what you just said, I think you might just be thinking about it like the wrong way, right? Like, take board games, for instance. You're going to have banter with your friends, right? You have to understand that while these people aren't your friends, you have to be friendly with them. Just like you would talk shit with your friend, Damn, Sarah, you got big feet. Like, who cares? I joke with Sarah. Like, I literally, it doesn't really matter. But like, my sister gets called Disney feet because she got big Disney feet. Like, that's it. Like, and it doesn't matter. But but like, I think really, again, it's the anger and the malice that's behind it is really the only issue here. They're like, trash talk is fine, but I also want to say, as a person who's managed many people, I don't want to punish people who haven't been properly socialized, right? And I think that's like a little bit of like what you're saying almost, is like, there are people who can't tell jokes. Some people are not properly socialized. I call it like dog is stupid because I haven't. I don't
know if I agree on the terminology, but I understand the sentiment. But generally speaking, too, like, my yum is different than your yum. So if I like peanut butter and you hate it, you know, I might like to be quiet and I don't want to be bothered by it, and like you might like to be loud and boisterous with that stuff, and like in the same setting, if we're our team, like yeah, not pushing one to meet the others sort of needs or the standard, and that's kind of more of where I'm coming at. But I understand what you're talking about. I don't know if I'd agree to the terminology of like socialize, because everyone different strokes for different folks.
Sure. I just meant like I've managed a bunch of people who weren't properly socialized when they were like younger. So what they do when they're older is like really innocent, but to other people it doesn't feel innocent because they don't realize that person wasn't really properly socialized. Like I've seen it time and time again where I've literally had to be like, yo, he just doesn't understand. like she doesn't understand. Something along those lines, right?
I like to look at it like the Wile E. Coyote moment. You're running after the Roadrunner, and Roadrunner just goes off a cliff and just keeps going. Wile E. Coyote keeps going, then realizes there's nothing underneath him, looks down, and when he looks down, he falls. And like that's kind of like a metaphor for that, you know, realization, that moment of like, oh wait, no, like I don't have ground underneath me. But philosophy aside, I do feel like Blanters has a place in esports, in Overwatch. I want to see more of it in Overwatch. I want to see it less sterile than this, but I do feel like it's a situation where the community, players, and just generally people need to be less soft-skinned about it. It needs to be done a little bit more clever. It needs to be more tactile. It can't just be you're stupid. Oh my God, you're so stupid. Right.
Well, I agree and disagree with you.
Even without malice and intent.
Like if somebody was just like, you suck in the chat, that's hilarious. Like even if that's the only like trash talk that they have, if they're just like typing out in all chat, you suck. Yeah, you. And then like they're not even targeting anybody or anything like that. But I think a real good point for a lot of people, and I think this is specifically for the Blizzard community, because at one point the Blizzard community did not wrangle in these players in any of their games. Okay? And I'll like Baron's chat, for instance, old World of Warcraft trade chat, right? They are very heavy-handed now because of what they started off with. Okay? And I think that that's a symptom of like what's going on right now. Because of that.
Right.
But I think like one sentence for everybody is like, it's okay for you to be uncomfortable. Like not always, but 95% of the time, it's okay for you to be uncomfortable. That joke didn't hit you the right way. Made you a little uncomfortable. Is it really bad? Probably not. Like if
to
just
push back on you, a little bit, that does not give other people carte blanche, though. So in that same way, the balance between the two, it's okay to be.
Says that.
It's
like
okay to be uncomfortable, but that you're not like. It doesn't mean somebody's allowed to just say whatever they want. Oh, you know, it was just with the correctness kind of bullshit, like the PC, like I can't say anything anymore. That doesn't mean you just get to say whatever you want either. You can say it, but there's going to be consequences because there's always been consequences for being an asshole.
I think again. Like, especially when we're talking even about Overwatch, I don't even think that needs to be stated because you will get fucking banned. You're gone. Like Blizzard's automated thing will usually pick you up, or it'll convert your thing into my mom made cookies. Like the worst offenders are probably verbal offenders most of the time when it comes to like a lot of these like emotional words. And I say emotional words because like they're reacting in the moment with emotion. That's how you get like a lot of really bad curse words come out from emotion, right? And so they're just like too emotional inside the game, and it comes out through voice chat. It's like not one of them is going to type the N-word. They're going to type it on Discord, but they ain't typing that shit in the battle.net. Like,
yeah, that's an interesting.
No shot. Like you'll go off and type it in Discord like N-word, and like you're a bad guy, but like you don't have the balls to even like. I doubt they'll say it or anything like that. So I think like. I hear where you're coming from. I just think that like that bar's already set. Like a lot of Overwatch players know exactly like what's gonna get them banned and what they shouldn't be doing it. And it's a very broad community with I want to say like I don't want to say like niche, but it's like it's very minute amount of players in the game that are real that are actually like toxic problems like that. But
Yeah.
you know,
it's a lot. It's a big conversation. A big conversation we'd like to continue to have here. One of our big mantras too. If you're typing, you're not playing, and you're probably losing the game because of it. But you know, we'll keep talking about it. We'll keep on this subject matter because there is an aspect of it, like we are alluding to, but like there is a nuance, and I think that's the biggest thing of like learning and relearning nuance, and it is sort of significant of the time of experience, the last 10 years overall, but the internet, it's still pretty new, and we gotta wrap our heads around it. But